Hello, people of the earth. This is stinging nettles. It is very common, easy to use, easy to find, abundant wild vegetable. Can I think it's pretty easy to identify. I don't really think about it for identification very much because it's so unique. You can notice the teeth on the edges of the leaves, those veins leading to them, and then if you look at the stems, they have a opposite branching, right? So wherever there's one branch, there's another one on the opposite side of the stem. Just a really classic, unique shape. Here they are. This is late April, upstate New York, and they're pretty fast-growing plant. So they just emerged a couple weeks ago from the soil. It's a perennial, and so they come back every year in the same spot. Though they will move around here and there. They'll kind of migrate, but they spread by rhizomes, and they grow really fast. These will get to be about 6-7 feet tall by mid to late summer, and then they'll make their seeds, and the stalks will die back. Now, if you want to, as far as common lookalikes, I don't know of any poisonous lookalikes to stinging nettles. I can't think of anything that I would confuse this with. But if you're gathering any plant for food, you want to be 100% sure you know what it is. So while I'm talking, I'm going to show different angles of the plant so you can become more familiar with it. But with all wild plants, you kind of want to be as familiar with them as you are with plants that you normally eat. So if you went to the supermarket and you got a banana, you would know it was a banana, and nobody could tell you otherwise. And that's the same level of confidence you want to have when you're gathering food in the wild. It's the same thing if you're gathering food in the store. You're gathering food, you're going to put it in your body. You should know what it is. So, and there's lots of good field guides and books and websites and stuff. You should always know what you're getting. Anyway, stinging nettle, back to it. Its reason it's called stinging nettle is because it has these hairs on it. And the hairs are like, they pack a punch. You can see them. These very tiny white hairs all along the stem and the leaf axils. Those have a venom, like a poison on them that is the same thing that's in bee stings. It's in bee venom. And it does hurt. It can cause like a little rash or like red bumps that are pretty itchy and irritating. So you want to be careful. You don't want to just reach in here and grab a handful of this stuff. But it's really easy to avoid, I think. So if you look at the hairs, if you're noticing them, they kind of all come out at this angle that's slightly upright. It's like horizontal and a little bit up. So you can kind of pinch the tops of the plants in a certain way that you don't really get stung because you're kind of like going from the underside of the needles. But the other thing is, they're not that bad. Like, people kind of freak out about stuff, but and it can hurt. I'm sure it affects different people different ways. But I just like got in here. Let's see my hand. So I just go in and I just kind of pinch the tops off. And then some people wear gloves, and that's fine. But I don't know. I don't think it's like that big a deal. And I used to even eat these raw. I would like roll them up and then just crush them with my teeth. But sometimes it would irritate my throat and stuff. You don't really need to do that. I was just being weird. But look how beautiful the veins are on the underside of the leaf. So the tops are really the best part, in my opinion, as far as a vegetable. So what I'll do is I'll come out and I'll gather like a basket full of tops, and then I'll bring them in the house. And when you cook them, those hairs are completely negligent. They disappear. They kind of just melt when they're being cooked. So you can steam them, you can boil them, you can saute them. They're a really, I'm sure you could even just mash it all up. But they're great cooked green. They're easily as good as spinach. Very high in iron. Very good for you. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's just a great wild vegetable. The other thing I want to say is that if you do get stung, because if you get in here and sometimes you're picking for a while, you can get bad stings. Some people wear gloves, but if you do get bad stings, like on your arms or legs or whatever, or just accidentally, you get in there, you fall on it, whatever. Jewelweed is a great plant to know, and it usually grows pretty close to where stinging nettles do. And if you just rub some jewelweed on the stinging nettle burns, it kind of disappears. There's lots of other species of nettles. They grow all over the world. Around here we also have wood nettles. You can find stinging nettles doing their best work, like really like the most abundant, thickest, most beautiful patches will be in fertile floodplains, like along creeks and rivers and stuff like that. But they'll also grow behind buildings, by railroad tracks, gravel pits, stuff like that, waste areas, places of neglect. But there it is. You can also make tea with it, and it's really good tea, and it's used a lot medicinally. I don't really know much about medicine though, but yeah, beautiful, beautiful plant. Thanks, Nettles.